The scorching, unforgiving sun relentlessly bakes the cracked African earth. The suffocating heat heavily distorts the dry air above the barren wasteland. Deep within the abrasive, dusty scrub, a young male honey badger is enduring pure physical agony. He is violently excavating a massive, rock-hard termite mound, desperately seeking a hidden beehive. Thousands of deeply agitated, venomous bees violently swarm his thick, rubbery face. They relentlessly plunge their toxic stingers into his dark nose and heavily scarred ears. He completely ignores the searing, throbbing pain, forcefully digging his massive claws into the dry dirt. Survival in this brutal, starving environment demands an extremely high tolerance for pure suffering. Finally, he aggressively rips a dripping, golden honeycomb from the dark earth. He briefly closes his dark eyes, heavily panting, preparing to consume the highly hard-earned calories. But a massive, towering shadow suddenly engulfs his small, stocky frame. A fully grown male baboon violently shoves the young badger directly from behind. The heavy, brutal strike forcefully rolls the tiny predator into the sharp, thorny brush. This giant primate relies heavily on his massive physical bulk and terrifying, razor-sharp canines. In stark contrast, the young badger possesses a legendary, absolute absence of fear. His incredibly loose, thick skin acts as an impenetrable, heavy biological armor against deep bites. A large troop of baboons sits lazily in the surrounding dead acacia trees. They completely refuse to intervene, passively watching the violent robbery unfold in the dust. They prioritize their own absolute safety over the chaotic, violent conflicts of the troop. The massive baboon aggressively snatches the entire dripping honeycomb from the dirt. He quickly retreats to the safety of a high, rocky outcrop to greedily devour the stolen prize. The young badger heavily staggers back to the excavated hole, finding absolutely nothing but dry dust. The sudden, devastating loss of crucial energy triggers an acute, physiological stress response. Even though he severely lacks the heavy muscle mass and dense bone structure of a fully mature adult, his rage is absolute. He violently snaps. He aggressively charges up the steep, rocky incline with terrifying, blinding speed. He launches a violently decisive strike directly from the giant primate's blind spot. The chaotic dispute over stolen food instantly escalates into a full-scale, brutal, physical war. The heavy baboon screeches loudly, violently swinging his incredibly long, muscular arms. He desperately calculates the physical distance, aggressively pushing the furious badger away. The primate knows that a single crushing bite from those heavy jaws can instantly snap thick bones. The young badger violently slashes his heavy claws, relentlessly driving the giant primate backward. The chaotic, deafening noise of the brutal brawl heavily echoes across the silent, burning savanna. But this loud, violent distraction violently attracts a much darker, completely unexpected audience. A massive, heavily muscled leopard has been silently stalking through the tall, dry grass. Hunting adult primates in the blinding midday sun is a highly unusual, incredibly dangerous risk. But the completely distracted, fighting baboon offers a perfect, irresistible opportunity. The giant feline explodes from the thick brush like a terrifying, spotted lightning bolt. It aggressively exploits the primate's massive blind spot, launching its heavy body into the air. The leopard violently slams into the baboon, sinking its lethal, suffocating fangs directly into the primate's thick neck. The heavy baboon instantly collapses under the crushing weight of the apex predator. A brutal, suffocating death in the dry dust seems absolutely inevitable. But the legendary, blind aggression of the honey badger violently defies all natural logic. Instead of heavily sprinting away to save his own life, the tiny brawler is completely consumed by adrenaline. He aggressively redirects his absolute, unadulterated fury toward the massive, spotted cat. The badger violently launches his stocky body directly at the apex predator. He viciously bites and aggressively slashes at the leopard's exposed flanks and heavy, twitching tail. The giant feline violently growls, desperately trying to drag the heavy, bleeding primate into the brush. But the young badger absolutely refuses to stop his chaotic, relentless assault. He aggressively bites deeper, completely ignoring the terrifying size and lethal power of the massive cat. The leopard is forcefully forced into a rapid, highly critical biological calculation. Enduring this chaotic, violent harassment risks a severely infected, life-threatening injury. The giant feline aggressively spits in pure frustration, finally dropping the heavily bleeding baboon. It violently turns and silently vanishes back into the tall, dry grass, entirely abandoning the hard-earned kill. The heavy dust slowly settles over the brutally scarred, bloody battlefield. The heavily injured baboon lies trembling on the baked earth, gasping for desperate, ragged breaths. He has miraculously survived a completely lethal, suffocating ambush, and his utterly bizarre, entirely accidental savior is the exact same creature he violently robbed just moments ago. The young badger violently shakes the heavy dust from his coarse coat, his dark eyes still burning with pure rage. He aggressively snatches a small leftover piece of honeycomb from the bloody dirt. He heavily marches away into the unforgiving wasteland, completely ignoring the giant, bleeding primate behind him. Nature heavily dictates that the African savanna is never governed by fairness, mercy, or logic. In this brutal, chaotic world, pure, absolute aggression is sometimes the only force that can violently rewrite the rules of life and death.